Good morning, everybody. How are you? Good morning, good morning. So this morning, I am not at the store, as you can probably tell. And Fran is at a meeting. So, it's just me today, but I'm staying home, which we had planned like a week ago, which is good because I have a sick kiddo home today. So it's good that Mama could be here and be around. So let me just double check.
Can I say hi, Mom?
Yeah, come quick and say hi. This is my little guy. You gotta be nice.
Hi.
Do you want to smile? You gonna be all shy now?
What?
He likes to watch.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
You gonna go watch that?
When the remote's charged.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, thanks. You can leave for a little bit now.
Okay.
I was just gonna pull up. Should have done this earlier, but I was just gonna.
Taking this with me.
Okay, shut the door. On Facebook and see, because I can't see comments very well on my phone when I'm videoing. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay. But we have some announcements to make. So I don't think I've got anybody joining yet. But I wanted to comment or tell you again about our open house that is this Saturday. So it's the 30th of March, and we're going to be having two special events. Hi, Jerry Lynn, how are you? So it is, the whole open house runs from 10 to 5, our normal business hours. Come see our class our class, what's the right word? Samples. That's the right word. Our class samples of all the new classes that we'll be teaching for the next couple of months. Some are repeats, some are brand new, some you've never seen before. Some of our favorites we're doing again because we know that there's people who want to take them again. So come anytime during that time to see that. At 10 o'clock, Lisa McComb, she's our teacher who teaches rug hooking and needle punch, and she will be coming and doing demonstrations. So we know that those may be something that you're not familiar with, and so she will be doing demonstrations on those at 10 o'clock. So come see that if you're interested in that. Lisa has a beginner class that you can take, and then if you like it and you've taken that beginner class, you can sign up for the club. And we have a club that meets once a month that does needle punch, and one club that does rug hooking. So, but Lisa wants to make sure that you've got a beginning foundation before you start the club. So you need to take that beginner class, and then that's just good to see if you like it, you know, if you want to do more. So, but come see what it's all about. Come check it out. Come watch Lisa do it. And then at 1, we're having Dion Stott come. She is a long arm quilter. She's an author. She's got amazing talents in the quilting world. She also sings for the Tabernacle at Temple Square, the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. So she's amazing. So we're excited to have her. She's just released a fairly new book. It's called The Ultimate Binding and Edge Finishing Guide. And she will come at 1 o'clock. She will do a trunk show, and then she will do book signings. So for those of you who get our emails, you'll notice that when I was creating the email, I got an autocorrect incorrectly. So it said we were doing a truck show. We are not doing a truck show. We are doing a trunk show. Dion is doing a trunk show. So I'll send out another email this week with a corrected version, but we got it fixed on social media. But anyway, so and let's see. So that is Saturday, and I'm trying to think what else. So I'm teaching a class this time. The class is not till June, but it's going to be on little piecing, and so I'm going to get I'm going to make all of these into a little wall hanging, but these are the little pieces that I'm making. So can you see? I like the size of my glass, but look at that little truck. I've got a little reindeer. I've got a little Christmas tree. So if you are interested in paper piecing, and specifically tiny paper piecing, this would be a fun class for you to take. So that's what I'm working on personally. Miss Fran's working on a couple classes. She's going to teach a bag, and she kind of showed that, I believe last week, kind of a braiding technique that's beautiful. I know, Betty Jo, I love it. Some people don't love it, and that's okay. In fact, I had a dream last night that nobody wanted to take my class. And that's okay, because some people don't like it. And when Lynn shows me his tiny things, I don't like his tiny things. I mean, I do love them. I don't necessarily want to make them. So I should clarify them. I love his tiny things. For those of you who know what I'm talking about. But Lynn uses rulers and piecing and does not use paper piecing, foundation paper piecing, which I feel like the foundation paper piecing is how I find success. So, and Lynn has created all these lovely things with his tiny things, and he has gorgeous work. But anyway, so we all like different things. Oh, Kelly, perfect. I love it. I think it's so much fun. And for those of you who remember, I've shown this a couple times. I did this tiny piecing and then made it into a bag. And I had a lot of fun doing this one. Oh, here's my little guy again.
Mom,
What?
do you know where my little sink is?
I don't, buddy. We'll have to find it in a little while. Go downstairs. It was downstairs on the island. Go downstairs and check.
Okay.
So, sorry. Okay, so, anyway, that's what I'm teaching, and, oh, you love tiny, but you don't like paper piecing. Okay, so, see, maybe you would like to take Lynn's class, and Lynn, I think, is ready to do his tiny piecing class again. So, yeah, and some people love paper piecing and some people don't. It's just so fun how, see, and some people love applique and create beautiful applique things, and that's not me. So it's just whatever you like, whatever you, and sometimes you got to try something out to see if you like it. That's one reason why I've loved doing our second Saturday classes at Village Dry Goods, because they're a skill builder class, and so you get a lot of techniques without having to necessarily make a whole quilt of that. But then if you find something you like, then you can kind of seek after that. So if you like the wool applique, or you like the hand applique, or if you like the foundation paper piecing, or if you like one of the rulers, you know, you can jump in. You know, we do our Lemoyne Star ruler a lot, and we've had people make beautiful quilts with the Lemoyne Star ruler. So anyway, it's good just to open your horizons a little bit and see what's out there. So, and Betty Jo, machine applique, I agree with you. If I'm going to ever applique, it's machine, personally. But I'm in a busy stage of life still. I've got all my kids still at home. I've got 2 teenagers. I've got a busy little guy, and I just don't have a lot of time to sit and stitch. And so if I'm going to sew, I want to be at my machine. And there's something about pedal to the metal. Of course, applique, you can't really go pedal to the metal, but my tiny class is going to be in June, Betty Jo. And I can't remember the exact dates off the top of my head. So we will list all of our classes. They'll be all up on our website Saturday, so you can check. If you can't come to the open house, that's actually a good point. If you can't come to the open house, you can check on our website Saturday, and you can sign up online for all of our classes. And then, my class is going to be a 2-part class. So the first class will go over the tiny piecing and the paper piecing. And you guys can see the paper on the back. And then you can go home. I think it's 2 weeks later. Maybe, I don't think it's 1 week later. I think it's 2 weeks later. You'll come back and we'll kind of turn it into some sort of wall hanging. So this is the pattern, and this is the kind of the wall hanging that she's done. But the really cool thing about these is these are perfect to make an ornament or a pincushion or a mug rug, or like you can just take your favorite pieces and just kind of make something really cool with it. So I'm trying to frantically get my wall hanging done, but I want to show some examples of some of those other things like a pincushion or an ornament. I think I'll probably end up making an ornament that you could hang on a tree, just to show another example. So it's been really fun though, and I've been making these, and I only have a couple more to make. So hopefully today, if my sick kiddo agrees, I can get this stuff really underway. So thanks for asking, Betty Jo. So got a little frog in my throat. Maybe I need to grab a drink. Are you guys sewing today? I am hopefully going to be able to sew today. And it kind of got cold back in Utah. We had a little bit of a warm spring week last week, and then it got cold again. Yesterday, it was raining. I drove home from St. George this weekend. My daughter had a dance competition in St. George, and we hit hail, a ton of hail coming home. We hit some rain, we hit some snow, but mostly hail. It was crazy. So,
Hail?
yeah. Okay, go please. I hope that at least in June the roads will be okay. Yeah, hopefully. You know, so I have seen snow in June, but yes. Okay, so today I kind of wanted to talk about the history of quilting, like way back forever. So they said, I read several articles on it, and they said that they can find evidence of quilting back in ancient Egypt, and it was a piece of clothing. They called it a quilted mantle. And so, and that's kind of where they think some of the first quilting really came to be, is that back in the 12th century, they would make quilted undergarments to wear under armor to help keep them warm. So, and comfortable in their armor, because it just helped pad everything. So that is some of the quilting of where they think it came back to be. And then I found some different versions of the word quilt, and it comes from a Latin word. It's not in the article I actually printed out, but it means like a stuffed sack, is what the quilted word means. Hi, Sarah, how are you? Let me flip back to my computer here so I can see. Okay, perfect. I think I've gotten all your comments. Okay, so then, obviously, a lot of quilts were made for practical use, but they did try and make them look pretty, even if they had to make it be practical. And so they found decorative quilts dating back to the 14th century, and that there's a quilt on display in Florence, Italy from the 14th century. And then it says they would use old quilts to make new quilts sometimes if money was really a problem. But they did find in Victorian England, I think they said, like whole cloth bed covers were made and quilted, and they would be included in their inventory of their household, and also kind of created family heirlooms. So they were very important, even back then. And then they said from 1750 to 1850 it kind of came an art form, and they became more elaborate. So that's when it kind of kicked off, probably, or at least when we have evidence of when it kicked off. They said in the early 1800s they included more whole cloth quilts and medallion quilts. And the whole cloth quilts are super interesting because they were often, obviously with whole cloth quilts, the quilting is what makes the design. And some of these would be incredibly intense. And that's where kind of the community started coming in, is that you would get together and do it with people. And they said kind of the early American settlers from Europe and different places, England and Holland, I think were the two places that they mentioned. That's kind of where the quilting bees started, where they would get together, they would get to know each other, and they would get to create these beautiful, elaborate quilts. And then obviously in the 1830s, during the Civil War, the abolitionists embroidered anti-slavery messages and quilts to sell at fairs. And then that kind of morphed into the Underground Railroad portion of it all. And also they kind of were created to tell family history and be able to pass that information down on. So then it says that really we've had the revival of quilting in the last 60 years. And in the time leading up to the American Bicentennial, that's when historians really started looking at quilts and looking at how they shaped our history. And that the craft was being revived. So I'm just trying to see if I've missed anything. It says just with painting, sculpture, and clothing, quilts have been influenced by culture, events, political environment of the times in which they were created. They tell stories of kings and slaves, families and individuals, histories and dreams. While everything old became new again at some point, each revolution adds a new technique or a detail that sets it apart. In 20 years, it'll be exciting to see how our future current events that are happening today are influencing our quilts of the future. So I thought that was super interesting. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I read. I only printed one article, but I read a bunch. So I just find it interesting to see what our history is. And we've talked before that I believe it was 1979 is when the rotary cutter was invented. And so that really, in my mind, revolutionized quilting because we could be so much more accurate and faster. You know, we weren't sitting there with scissors cutting out individual pieces. Obviously the new technology over the last, it did say in 1850 is when, like mass production of fabric really could happen. So it wasn't like if you wanted to make a quilt before 1850, you may have had to, create your own fabric. But in the 1850s is when that mass production of fabric started coming. So instead of actually having to, oh, that's amazing, Betty Jo. Betty Jo has her great-grandmother's quilt, meaning the 1860s, 70s. That is amazing. How awesome is that? Oh, I bet that's such a treasure. I bet that is such a treasure. And so at that time, instead of people having to spend so much effort in actually making the fabric, they could take the fabric that they could purchase that was mass created and then actually spend time making something else with it. So it's just so interesting as technology has gone on. But I do think in the last 40 years, well, as quilting has made its revival, which according to this article is in the last 60 years, the fabric manufacturing has gotten better. And so we've got higher quality fabric that we're working with, produced on a mass scale. I mean, I think there was very good quality fabric that was created, you know, on a small scale. But now that it's produced on a mass scale, you know, we can get good quality fabric and we can make beautiful things with it. So, you know, and obviously as women and men are deciding that they love quilting, then where there's an industry, there's going to be innovation. And so, you know, now there's so many new notions and rulers. And I mean, the acrylic ruler is also probably a huge innovation as well. Just to be able to, you know, be able to cut accurately with your rotary cutter and be able to use just an acrylic ruler. So it's so interesting, which you can see from, you know, if anyone's got your great grandmother's sewing kit, you know, the amount of notions that we have now is just so much greater. And, you know, like I said, everything can be mass produced now. So you can go to a quilt shop almost all over the world and find it. You know, find fabric, find different things. So I'm so excited. I'm going to Australia this summer and I'm going to find some quilt shops in Australia. And I'm actually going to pre-record a Village Vibes for you with my friend who lives in Australia. And we're going to go do some quilt shopping around there. And I'm so excited to go over there and show you some Australian things. But we'll pre-record it because of the time difference. It will not really work for live Village Vibes. So we'll see how we do that, but it's going to be exciting. So anyway, we've got fun things planned. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I was supposed to tell you. Fran is at a shop hop meeting. So again, if you need to get shop hop on your calendar, let me jump over here because Fran has the dates memorized, but I do not.
What dates?
The dates of shop hop are April 26th through May 4th. So again, get that on your calendars. Fran's at a shop hop meeting today, getting things planned. It's really coming down to the wire for, oh, thanks, Betty Jo. I will look for some of those. So it's really getting down to the wire for these shop owners to have all of their ducks in a row and everything planned out. And I think Fran's picking up all of our flyers and things today so that we can start, you know, just having all of that displayed and out and ready for you guys. So that's where Fran is today. Next week I will be gone. It's spring break. So I'm going to be on a trip with my family, but Fran's going to be doing something with somebody at the store. So please join in for next week so you can watch that. And Betty Jo, I'm glad you're planning on coming to Shop Hop. It's going to be exciting. Shop Hop is always so much fun, and I love the social aspect of it. I've got a little group that we've gotten together for years, and sometimes it's a little bit different. Sometimes one year somebody can't go, and we add someone new, and you know, but we can only take as many people as we can fit in my car because I've got the biggest car. But
the Suburban.
Do we have to do all the shops? I don't know, Betty Jo. I don't know what the rules are this year. We'll announce that though as it gets a little bit closer. The last couple of years they've done just an extra prize if you've hit Logan and Springville. So the Corn Wagon and My Girlfriends, if you hit both of those, you got entered in for a special prize. But I don't remember, the last couple of years they haven't had a passport for hitting all the shops. So I will see. I don't know the answer to that. So we can announce that next week. I'll tell Fran that you asked that question, and then she can maybe announce it next week, or we can do it in 2 weeks when I'm back. So, but don't forget Saturday, our open house. If you can't come, check our website, check out our classes, and I hope somebody will sign up for my little paper piecing class. Isn't that funny? Last night I seriously did have I don't know if it was a nightmare or I really wasn't stressed about it. I was like, oh, I guess nobody wants to take my class. But I know that Roxy is going to be doing more of her coloring classes. If you haven't seen her colored pencil classes, they're gorgeous. Let's see. Someone just commented, but I can't read it on my phone. So let's see. Oh, you've been doing it with your daughters. That's exciting. I do it with my mom and my mother-in-law and my aunt and a couple of friends. And so we have a really good time. So it's fun. And I started quilting in 2015. So I retired from my career in 2015. I was very young to retire, but that's when I knew I could start quilting. And so I went to Shop Hop for a couple of years before that. In fact, I remember working from the car, trying to work and still do Shop Hop and take phone calls and talk to clients and do all the things that I had to do for my job. And so I must have started going to Shop Hop in 2012, 13, probably around there. And then, so I'm over 10 years, I would guess. I'm at least 10 years, if not more. So, anyway, yeah, it's really fun. But, I hope that you guys are planning on it at least one day. Sarah, what was my career? So I worked for a company in Logan, and helped start a company, and we did utility billing. So that's kind of my background, and traveled a lot, visited a lot of clients, did a lot of training, loved it. And then stopped working for several years, and then once I started quilting and I was in the store a lot, Fran was like, hey, you want to come work? And I was like, maybe. So I started slow because my 7-year-old, when she first started talking to me, my 7-year-old was only 2, I think. He might not have even been 2 yet. And so I just started out slow, and then as he has grown bigger, and then also now is in all-day school, then I have a little bit more time to do this kind of thing. So it's fun.
About me?
I am talking about you.
7 now.
You are 7 now. That's right. So, well, I hope everyone's having a great day. I'm excited to get sewing today. Thanks to our special guest. Come here, come say hi again.
Hi.
What do you want to tell him?
Nothing.
Nothing? You want to say that you watch Village Vibes?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. So if you don't know, I upload all of these Village Vibes from Facebook. I upload them to YouTube because some of our customers prefer to watch them on YouTube. And so we upload them there, and Ren is just really impressed that I'm a YouTuber, right? Is that pretty cool?
I want to be a YouTuber too.
He wants to be a YouTuber too.
Can me and Kate start
60
a YouTube channel?
No. 64 shops, Betty Jo. Wow. That kind of boggles my mind. And obviously you probably didn't do them all, right? I mean, it would take you weeks to do that. It takes, well, we really like to have 2 days, and we can hit most of the stores in 2 days. But yeah, wow, that's crazy. That's really crazy. So 16 shops to be entered in the drawing. That's a good number. That's a good number. I'll have to jump on UtahShopHop.com. There is a website for the Utah Shop Hop, and I'll have to see how many shops are in there. I think I'm not going to say because I can't remember. Oh, bus trips. That would be fun. That would be really fun. Very cool. So there's lots of different ways to be social and have fun. Okay, well, I'm going to go. Hope you all have a lovely day. Listen to Fran. Oh, good, Jordan. I'm glad that you were working on your Christmas quilt. Sarah, 13. I was going to say 12 or 13, so I was close. And that might be right. That sounds right, but I just don't know, so I don't want to spout wrong information on the internet, right? I try not to. I'm not going to be perfect, so I'm probably going to do that. But I try not to say the wrong things. 11 in our shop pop-up this year. So, I can remember exactly. So, Fran would say, be kind to other people, be kind to yourself. Remember the 5-10 rule. The 5-10 rule is if you're 10 feet away from somebody, smile. And if you're 5 feet away from somebody, say hi. Just on the road, on the street, in a grocery store, brighten someone's day because a smile makes all the difference. So we do have a beautiful sunny day here today, but I will be sewing and hoping to get some stuff done and get my stuff done. I've got a deadline. I got to get it all done by Saturday. So I just hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.